Are you prepared for some thrilling forecasts regarding Tesla's first quarter 2023 earnings? Tesla built over 440 Zero vehicles and delivered about 423 Zero vehicles, beating forecasts. The question is whether they will surpass projections in Q1 earnings. This video aims to forecast Tesla's stock price by examining its prediction chart, estimating its sales, earnings, and net income, and debating the implications for the company's stock price. So grab a seat, press the like button, and let's get going. In the first quarter of 2023, Tesla delivered about 423 Zero units, exceeding forecasts. They have produced over 440 Zero vehicles, which is only 1,000 more than the previous quarter, but this is because the Model 3 was shut down for 2 weeks. If that hadn't happened, production levels would have almost reached 470 Zero, which is outstanding. Although this is 10,000 fewer vehicles than estimated, it's still an impressive feat. Question at hand is whether Tesla will beat estimates for Q1 profits, which we'll forecast in this video. Below is the quarterly Tesla stock price prediction chart. The top row displays car deliveries, and the second row is solely for FSD. It requires a one-time payment of $15,000 per quarter, but by the end of this year, they'll probably raise it to $17,000 based on supply and demand. I used a conversion rate of 15, which indicates that 15 Tesla purchasers will choose to pay the FSD once. The average selling price of each vehicle in Q1 is $50,000. This increases to $49,000 in Q2, $50,000 in Q3, and $50,000 in Q4 due to the Cybertruck, which will cost upwards of $50,000 per vehicle. The FSD profit margin for all quarters is 4 to 5%. The predicted credits for the first quarter are $400 million, with successive quarters expected to see credits of $350 million, $300 million, and $250 million. Profits and operating margins per vehicle are also taken into consideration. In addition, I've included energy since it's starting to affect stock prices. In 2022, energy will generate nearly $4 billion in revenue and nearly $300 million in profits. 5. In Q1, I predict that energy will generate about $1.55 billion in revenue, which will rise by $200 annually through the end of Q4 to reach $2.2 billion. The projected earnings for each of the 4 quarters are $12. To the 350, 350, 375, and 375 FX exchange expense, I would like to add that. By using a suitable P, we can determine the correct stock price for the following quarters. Converting yuan to US dollars is rather expensive, and this will add to the current quarter. Adding this to the previous 3 quarters will give us an entire fiscal year. The share. Standing is being diluted by 1% annually, 4% annually, and 1% quarterly, which is something that should be mentioned. Now let's forecast quant earnings and revenue. If you're ready, we can add the 423 Zero vehicle deliveries to quant in order to estimate revenue. Press the like button. If we combine FSD revenue with energy revenue and their profits, the total vehicle revenue comes to approximately $21 billion with an operating margin of 14. Tesla's first quarter 2023 revenue is over $24 billion. The net income is $3.06 billion, and we can hold on to this EPS figure. The quarterly EPS is expected to be 1.13, despite the street's prediction at 85 cents. I put it at 14 in Q2 at 13.5 because they recently announced more cuts. The price reductions. The profit margin is still going to be higher than 9.7%, which is a good sign even in this strange economy where we're in a recession. I don't understand where they're getting 85 cents from. Even if we reduce the operating margin to 10, it's still not 85 cents. It's time to start planning for the upcoming quarter. My projections for Q2 are somewhat cautious. My prediction is that Tesla will deliver 444 Zero cars at a 13% margin, generating nearly $25 billion in revenue. However, because of the decreased operating margins, net income will be less than $3.6 billion, resulting in an EPS of 1.12 cents for the quarter and an EPS of 4.40 for the previous 3 quarters. In Q3, I anticipate that Tesla will deliver 465 Zero vehicles, but I'm leaning more towards 480 Zero. This will generate over $26.5 billion in revenue and a net income of little over $3.8 billion. The quarterly EPS is expected to be 17 cents, while the cumulative EPS for the year thus far is anticipated to be 452 cents. Advancing to Q4, although I believe Tesla is capable of much more, I am projecting that they will produce an astounding 490 vehicles. I want to be cautious and careful. This will bring in almost 28.6 billion in revenue with a net income of over 4.5 billion. The EPS for the quarter will be 1.26, and the total EPS for the year it'll be 4.62. While this isn't the greatest growth in earnings, with just a 16 to 18 increase year-over-year growth, in terms of vehicles delivered is about 39%. Now let's talk about what this means for Tesla stock price. Right now, the stock is trading between $180 and $190 per share, but it could go lower due to recent price cuts and market panic. However, assuming a PR ratio of 50 for Q1, we could see a stock price of 201 per share. If they miss EPS expectations and the P drops to 45 or even 40, we could see a stock price of $161 or $121 per share, respectively. If things go bearish and the P drops to 30, the stock price could go as low as $101 per share. On the other hand, if Tesla surprises the stock market with an EPS of 1.13, we could see the P rise back to up to 55 or even 60, although it's unlikely to go much higher in this current market environment overall. I'm going to stick with the conservative estimate of a 50 pay ratio as we move into Q2. We can see a stock price of Tesla is slightly lower than Q1, which can indicate negative news on the price, and the stock may fall to $45 or $40. Okay, frightening investors. As it appears that Tesla did not meet its quant earnings targets. However, if we examine the PA ratios, we can find that it increased to 176 in Q2 from approximately 161 in Q1. Moving on to Q3, I think the stock price will continue to improve, and I'll give it a P50, which should result in an average stock price of $226 per share. If you want to get bullish, you could expect a P of 60 and a stock price of $271. This improvement suggests that the company is fundamentally strong and the stock will likely get stronger as well. My decision to leave the P at a base of 50 for Q2 will give us an average stock price of $226 per share when Q4 earnings are released between January 21, 2024 and April 20, 2024. I believe we'll be in a bull market. I expect that the stock price could reach a P of 60, resulting in a stock price of $277 per share. But to be safe, I'll give it a P of 50, resulting in an average stock price of $231 per share. However, predictions are not a guarantee. On the other hand, if you're bearish, you can expect a P of 40 or even 45, resulting in a stock price of around $180 per share. I believe the realistic price ranges for an end of 2023 to diversify my investments. Personally plan to purchase additional shares if the stock price falls below 200, but I will cease purchasing altogether if it rises beyond 300. I think it's important to diversify your investments. And since I'm saving for a house, I don't think I can have everything in one basket. However, the current decline in Tesla stock prices presents a potential opportunity. In 5 or 10 years, I might look back and regret not purchasing more shares while the stock was still below 1 trillion. I can't foresee what will happen in the short term, but I think that Tesla stock will continue to increase naturally. This is only my view, and I might be mistaken. Of course, if you need the money in the next year or two, investing in Tesla might not be the best idea. But however, I have faith in Elon Musk and the Tesla team because they are committed to accelerating the global transition to sustainable energy. For example, they plan to build a gigafactory in Mexico for their new compact car, which will take them to the next level. After that, they'll build similar factories in other parts of the world, which will eventually lead to the most vehicle deliveries worldwide, surpassing even Toyota. We would appreciate it if you could leave us a big like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. The stock is volatile and can swing back and forth like a flipping elephant trunk. It's important to conduct your own research and take all the investment advice with a grain of salt.